Hi friends, my name is Lilstarnerd. Welcome to today's video. Once again, let me brag about the coolest shirt that I own, the funniest shirt that I own, the weirdest shirt that I own. If you haven't been around for a long time, you might not have seen this shirt. I wore it last year for Pride too. It is the Property Brothers, Jeremy Renner, Bucky Barnes, and Eddie and Venom at Pride. Okay, anyways, I'm starting a new sketchbook. Yeah, it's super exciting, I know. I've already got stickers on it. I love this selection of stickers. I was going for birds, but there's actually not like that many birds. And then I was like, oh, it's kind of got this nice orange color palette going on, but also not really, but I don't know, to me it's making sense. And then on the back, there's some gay stuff because it's Pride. Happy Pride. Happy Pride, everybody. In honor of starting the sketchbook in Pride, happy Pride, the first page of this sketchbook is gonna be a minor, low-key make it gay. I feel like this one should be more high-key, but I don't know. I'll talk about it in the voiceover. But I'm doing a Norman Rockwell piece, which I feel like, because I love Norman Rockwell so much, that should be like a bigger deal as a make it gay. But we'll talk about it later. But yeah, it's gonna be in my sketchbook instead of like its own separate piece. I'm sure I'll still make prints out of it if I end up liking it, but like, this isn't like a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just a sketchbook, make it gay. But yeah, I thought, there would be nothing more appropriate to start my sketchbook with. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna like it. I hope. I don't know. I don't think I really have anything else to say. It's time to make some art. Grab whatever you're working on, grab a sketchbook. Let's sit down and do some gay art together. Let's go. Let's have some fun. So, another new sketchbook. I was very excited to start this bad boy. I definitely enjoyed the previous book. It was so fun doing something different and mixing it up a bit and getting out of my comfort zone. But I was just excited to get back to my Strathmore mixed media. It kind of, it felt like coming home, It seems so silly, but I think having my sketchbook be something that I'm really familiar with and comfortable with definitely affects the mental state, the mental side of art, right? Not always, and not super drastically, but there's an element of safety that it offers. So anyways, let's talk about this page and what it is exactly. I did not plan for this to be an official Make It Gay, because I have another actual real Make It Gay planned for Pride, but I thought, there's nothing wrong with doing 2 in a row. It's Pride Month, but now is the time to do it. I think gay stuff was just on my mind with it being June, and I was trying to come up with some idea or inspiration or starting point for the first page, and I kept coming back to this specific piece I had saved in my phone. I recently went through my phone photos to download them to my computer, right? Get some space back on my phone, all that stuff. And I sorted out the photos I had saved as art references, and I came across this screenshot of a Norman Rockwell painting I had seen somewhere online months ago. And for a few weeks, when I was looking for something to draw, I kept coming back to that photo on my phone, but I never really had the time or energy to dedicate to it. So when I was thinking of this first page, that Norman Rockwell piece was the first thing that came to my mind. The piece is called On Top of the World, a Young Couple Seated on Globe, which Norman Rockwell painted for a cover of the April 1928 edition of Ladies' Home Journal. We won't really get into the history or meaning or bio of the piece or artist like we usually do for Make It Gays, because like I said before, this is a much more casual episode today. And frankly, I think we all already know about Norman Rockwell, and also I don't think there's going to be much hidden meaning or symbolism in this particular piece, so not much of a point. So why is this particular Make It Gay more casual than the rest? I've had quite a few people suggest to me, request of me, that I do a Norman Rockwell Make It Gay basically since I started. I personally love his work. I see him as a huge style inspiration, and I've talked about that a lot on here. So people have expressed that that would be a cool thing to see from me, which I agree and I totally get that. But honestly, I hate to say this out loud, but I don't actually love a whole lot of Norman Rockwell's pieces. Don't get me wrong, I love him, his style, his art, his palette. There's a lot about and in his work that I love. The way he does faces, his anatomy, poses, all that stuff. But in terms of the final pieces themselves as a whole, there aren't a whole lot that really speak to me or interest me. And there's definitely not a lot that I think would work well specifically for a Make It Gay. And to be clear, like, I'm not speaking in absolutes. It's not like I've seen literally every Norman Rockwell piece that's ever existed. I'm sure that there are some great options out there that I just haven't seen. But I've been on the lookout for cute romantic scenes, couples that I could make gay, but I just really haven't seen any that resonate with me. I think one problem is that his work is so illustrative. A lot of them already tell a very specific story, and changing it to tell a different one would just feel weird and unnecessary. Let alone, like, who knows if it would even work well. His work is just so different than what I usually go for, and I find that it's really hard to put that same process into it, if that makes sense. Then I came across this piece, and this was the closest I had ever gotten to feeling like I had found a Norman Rockwell painting that I actually wanted to make gay. And even then, I didn't love the piece. This one feels kind of dull and empty compared to some of his other work, as in it lacked like that detailed environment and rich story that I had come to expect from him. And also, I'm not a fan of the globe thing, honestly. I guess I just don't get it. Like, I don't think I get this piece as a whole, but it does have the proper real estate for a Make It Gay. And I was like, I do want to do a Make It Gay with Norman Rockwell. It just feels right. It feels like something I should do in my art career at some point. But I knew that this piece was just not good enough in my heart for like a real dedicated, full-on Make It Gay. And so here we are, a very chill, low-key Make It Gay with a piece that I'm not in love with in my sketchbook instead of on its own paper. And frankly, I really appreciated and enjoyed it being so low-key because I had decided, like, okay, I'll do this piece, but it's not a real Make It Gay. So it gave me a lot of leeway in the concept process. As I've been progressing through this series, I feel like with each piece I have to do and be better and bigger. I put more and more thought into it. I try to change as much as possible where I can, like little elements. I try to really think about the representation I'm putting in and have I done this before? What's something I've never done? What's lacking? What other pieces of symbolism can I put in here? What other elements can I change or add to make it more queer, to make it more my own? And I do love all of that. I've been loving putting more thought into these pieces. I've been loving expanding my portfolio and my own queer vocabulary and knowledge. It's been so fun and so cool and so rewarding, and I feel like it's taught me a lot about my artistic process overall. However, I won't lie, sometimes I miss just taking a painting and gender swapping a person with absolutely no thoughts, no intentions, head absolutely barren except for gay, gay, gay. No worries about what things might mean, what story the original piece is telling, if I'm being repetitive. Having to do all that doesn't take away any of the fun, like not at all, but it does require a lot more work from me. For something like a sketchbook piece, to be honest, I don't want to put in all that work. I've said this before, I'll say it again. At my core, I am truly a lazy artist. So for this piece, I was like, I just won't do that stuff. I just won't plan at all. I did like 2 thumbnails to see how I wanted to make them look, like how I wanted the people to be, but otherwise, like, that was it. No color comps. I didn't try to change anything else. I wasn't like worried about symbolism. I kept all the elements except for the characters the exact same. I didn't change their clothes to make it more original to me. It was a very classic Make It Gay, just literally gender swapping a person. That's it. And with that like weight off of my shoulders, with the freedom to just copy a piece, it was really fun in a different way. Like, obviously it's fun when I do it the other way, but this was very like head empty fun. It was so easy to let loose and really focus not only on enjoying the process, but like really making this piece look good. Overall, it was so easy and fast, and I had such a wonderful time doing this piece. I chose to work in watercolors, mainly influenced by a watercolor kick I was on in my last sketchbook. Not to mention, I didn't want to use gouache again for the first page of this sketchbook, since that's what I did for the not the last one, but the one before. But I did want a kind of quicker paced and freer medium than something like markers, so watercolor it is. I thought about using a grid for the sketch, but I was like, I'm not gonna try that hard for this low-key sketchbook piece. So I went in freehand, which I'm actually glad I did, because I don't want to get super reliant on those grids for everything, especially sketchbook work. The sketch was super easy. I mean, honestly, like, I'm really on my Slay era right now. Like, it's crazy. Everything was so easy, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, I went in with a light wash as a base and pretty quickly started building up saturation and value in each area. I wasn't trying to go super crazy rendered, so I was moving pretty quickly. I pretty much went right in with each area that I was focused on. I did have to step back and take breaks now and then to let areas dry before I could keep working on them or finish them up. But mostly I feel like I jumped from subject to subject in the painting and mostly finalized them before moving on. Another thing I did, which I feel like I've done before, but today it was very purposeful in attempts to capture Norman Rockwell's style. When putting down the first light watery washes in areas, I would try to introduce different colors as undertones by going wet on wet with weird different colors. So like if there was a blue undertone in the yellow sweater, I would try and do those varying colors in that wet wash at first. And then I would go back over that once it dried with detail and saturation and lines and shadows and stuff, and let those undertones peek through. Hopefully that made sense. There are some areas of the piece where it is a little sloppy, particularly the globe and sky, because I'm sure you know those things aren't the focus of this piece, and it's just a sketchbook, so who cares if there are some messy parts. I did not want to put in effort, especially because I didn't like the globe. I didn't want to put in effort, you know what I mean? I wanted to get it as finalized as possible with just the watercolor, but I knew that there would be some detail I'd have to use the colored pencils for, and I actually love the way they layer with these Paul Rubin paints, especially for the blush on their cheeks. Ah, so yummy, so good. But yeah, I did some outlining and defining to wrap the piece up. And yeah, honestly, what a great way to start this sketchbook. So let's talk about that, like about what this first page means for the sketchbook and my goals for it and all that jazz. That is usually a big part of these videos, like talking about what this first page symbolizes and how it's going to help me throughout the process of this particular book. And this time, it is a little different. A few videos ago was my final spread of the previous sketchbook, and I talked about the difficulties I was having, finding time to work, motivation to work, all that stuff. And when I filmed the last spread, I was still literally only halfway through the book. I was having a bit of a crisis. I mean, definitely like a worry, at the very least, about losing my sketchbook habits, like, you know, my ability to keep a sketchbook. My hopes were down, inspiration was low, it wasn't looking good. Thankfully, the last spread did exactly what I needed it to. It totally revitalized me and got me excited about the book again. I went on a camping trip and I had packed some art supplies with the intention of trying to finish the sketchbook while I was there, or at least make some major progress. But I found that I was really enjoying the break from thinking and stressing about the book, so I decided not to push it. And when I came back, I was so excited to work in it again. It was like just everything about it was so much easier. And I was on crunch time to finish it. Like I had the filming date for the sketchbook tour scheduled. I had to get it done. So I set aside all my other responsibilities, stuff that normally would and probably should take priority, and I was like fuck it. All that matters right now is that I draw. Not only because I have to meet a deadline, but because I can feel it in me that I want to, and I don't want to miss out on that. So I did. I ignored pretty much everything else I had on my plate, and I just sat in front of my sketchbook and drew. And it was so weirdly easy, thinking of what I wanted to draw, approaching those subjects in fun, creative ways, trying new techniques and subjects, and finding Pinterest pins that actually seemed fun and doable. All of it was so easy. Every medium I owned was calling to me to use it. Everything I pulled out seemed to work so easily and effortlessly. It was just such a great experience. And I had this realization. I'm not having any issues with my sketchbook or my inspiration or my motivation. I just literally don't have time right now. I was so worried and so stressed, and even though I knew that the time thing was a major factor, like I talked about it a lot, I listed it as a reason I was having issues, I still didn't make the connection that that was my main ailment. All the stuff I was doing to reignite my love for sketchbooking, it was all unnecessary. None of it was gonna work. I was going to have this sketchbook be like a challenge-based sketchbook in which I filled a page every day and finished it within a month, no matter how bad the art was, just to get back into the habit of drawing daily. But now I realize, that's not going to change anything, because that's not my real problem. I was thinking back to my 50K video where I answered questions about my sketchbook, and I remember stressing that keeping a sketchbook in 3 months was not difficult for me, and that it fit very well into my schedule. And then here I am for months on end, struggling to ever find it in me to sit in front of my sketchbook and draw. But I know that that timeline did work for me really well, and I know it can again. The big difference is the time I have to dedicate to it. I just think it's so funny that it took me so long to realize, because I have literally already realized it. I've talked about it over on my Patreon podcast, like so much, very frequently. So I feel so silly having put myself through all that stress when it was just so unneeded. Of course, I'm going to keep making attempts to dedicate more time to my sketchbook and do what I can to help those habits, but I don't think I need to play this imaginary cat and mouse game anymore. This is just a storm that I have to wait out, honestly. Because when I was given the chance to just work in my sketchbook, when I set everything else aside and had no distractions, the ease and love and joy of it all came immediately rushing back. I wasn't actually lacking motivation or inspiration. So the whole thing is, my sister will be leaving for college in August, and I plan on moving out, like, hopefully in 12 months or more-ish, hopefully 12. So this is our last time ever actually really living together. This is officially the end of our childhood, which frankly mine should have ended years ago, but with a kid sister and parents who treat you like you're 15, you get a bit of an extension. But I realized, like, wow, we will never be as close as we are now. We will never get this unlimited time with our mom like we do now. And so for the past few months, and I plan to the next few months, I've been prioritizing my sister and my family. If my sister comes in to talk or asks to watch a movie or hang out, 9 times out of 10, I'll drop whatever I'm doing and go do that thing instead. My days off and extra days off are dedicated to going out and finding something fun to do with my family. I don't have time for my own hobbies and interests right now because all my downtime is dedicated to, like, watching movies, watching shows, spending time with them. And sometimes it's tiring, and of course it's frustrating to see the effect that has on my career, specifically my sketchbook, but it's so temporary and I know that it's so worth it. It's my last chance probably ever to do these things, you know? So I've decided I'm just not going to be mad about it. So what does that mean for this sketchbook and this first page? Well, my sister will be leaving right around the end of this sketchbook, theoretically, if I time this correctly. So my ability to work in sketchbooks probably won't be changing while I'm keeping this one. So honestly, I don't have any major goals or ideals for this sketchbook. I just want to finish it and have as much fun as I can in it. The first page has no meaning, no purpose. I mean, I hope that it will help inspire me throughout the sketchbook, but at the very least, it serves as a really good page in the sketchbook on the off chance that literally every other page sucks. At the tail end of the sketchbook, or maybe it'll be more like this sketchbook versus the next, my hope is to see the difference in my sketchbook habits before and after my sister leaves. I think my sketchbook will snap right back to normal after that. That's really what I'm waiting for. For now, I'm just going to ride out this sketchbook as happily as I can, and after my sister leaves, I'll reevaluate everything. If I'm still having troubles with it then, you know, we'll start switching things up and trying challenges and all that stuff. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, I'm not concerned. I think it's just a time issue, and I don't have a lot of it right now, so I'm just gonna do what I can. To be on theme, I'm wearing my gayest shirt. Yeah, here she is. I really love it. Oh, first of all, this is a holographic pride sticker. It says Queer and Proud. It's in my shop. Go check it out. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. First, I feel like I went in not intending to put like a lot of work into it because it was supposed to be really like chill, and it was, but for like not intending to put a lot of work in, I'm very, very happy with how it came out. I really enjoyed using the Paul Rubens set. It was so pleasant to use. I love the colors here, and I feel very proud of this one. What was cool about this process is even though I was really going super like chill and basically just replicating the photo, there were a lot of things that I feel like came from like me. A lot of times when I do art, I don't feel like a real artist because I feel like a lot of what I do is just direct replication. It's not from me. In this piece, I made a lot of creative decisions and I don't know, like even like anatomy type stuff that I feel like came from me. Like it was my own artistic knowledge, and that feels really, really good and really, really cool. I feel like I don't do that a lot. Like the legs and the skirt and stuff like that all had to be done like just from my imagination. And is it like perfect? No, but it's good enough, and that makes me really happy. Things like colors and like reflections of things, and I don't know, I really love it. I particularly love her face. I was really struggling with it I wasn't. The 2 thumbnails that I did that were very, very, very quick and simple. I loved her face. It was very like doodly and cutesy, and then I did a sketch to figure out their faces better, and I hated the way she looked in the sketch. So when I was doing this sketch, I looked at like just the thumbnails and not the preliminary sketch that I did, trying to replicate that vibe. And I think I did it really well. It's giving kind of like Betty Boop. Like, I love it. I think it's so cute and so pretty, and it makes me so, so happy. Yeah, just overall, I love the way the colors look and the blending, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really, really happy with it. Obviously, this will be a print. Also, I plan on making a zine with a collection of like all of my Make It Gay pieces in one spot. So this will definitely be in there. I wanted to have that out in time for Pride, but I knew that I would be making at least one thing that would need to go in there, so I figured I would wait. But yeah, that's coming. I think it's such a great start to this sketchbook, and like I said before, if it's the only good thing, I'm really proud of it, and so if it's the only good thing, that's good enough for me. Before I leave, I also want to show you the Patreon rewards for this month. They are like subtly queer themed. I have this print, which I love. I honestly think it might be one of my favorite prints. I don't know why. And then it has, you know, the postcard back. I think legally, like, you can use it as a postcard, I think. And then I have this little lady lover, ladybug sticker. They're both kind of like subtly queer, and I really like that. I do a lot of overt queer stuff, so I wanted something kind of more subtle, and I'm really, really happy with them. So if you join my my $20 tier for like the physical rewards before the end of June, you can get these. So check that out. That's it. I think that's all I have to say. I really enjoyed working today. I hope you got to work on something that you had fun in. Thanks for being here. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, the whole shebang. You know what to do. Go watch a movie, clean your room, and go do some art. Bye, guys. See you next time. Happy Pride. Have a good day. Bye.